Welcome back. Now, G20 preparations are on in full swing in J&K, even as India is hosting a number of mega events as part of G20 summit. There are intel inputs that there could be a possible attempt of creating trouble from the Pakistan side. Keeping this in mind, the security cover has been increased in the border areas.
As Jammu and Kashmir is all set to hold the prestigious G20 meeting in the Kashmir Valley, the security forces are on the highest of the alertness. The troops of the BSF are here at the ground zero doing around-the-clock surveillance of the international borders, be it the water routes that come and go to the Pakistani side, or be it the air route that the Pakistan always uses to drop the consignment of the drones, or the land routes which are always prone to the Pakistani nefarious attempts of infiltration. And right now we are in the Indo-Pakistan border here at a forward post in Jammu, where you will find that the troops of the border security force, they are all set for their patrol march in the mighty Chenab river, wherein they will be carrying out the drills. The drills not only to counter the threat that is coming via water route, but also the land route and the air threats that are being posed by the enemy. This is one of the toughest areas to man when it comes to the international border, because here the water channels are also being used by the Pakistan in the recent past to foment trouble, and that's why the security forces don't want to take any chance, and they are patrolling here round the clock, ensuring that the Pakistan's nefarious designs are foiled in such a manner that they aren't allowed to even disrupt the peace. Because in the recent past we have seen how Pakistan is trying to foment trouble, be it in Rajouri, Poonch, or in other districts of Jammu and Kashmir, by carrying out the major terror attacks. And keeping that in view, the Jawans of the BSF have been deployed on the international border with the highest of alertness, keeping in view the upcoming G20 event. With Gaurav Sahani, Gursimran Singh for Republic Media Network. The BSF is also guarding the land route that is quite often being used by the adversary to push in terrorists and intruders into the Indian territory. And this is one of the challenging things when it comes to the international border, because the Pakistani side is not very much far. If you go few meters beyond this point, then it is the Pakistani side that is always in a bid to sneak in into the Indian territory, always in a bid to destabilize India. But these troops of the BSF are giving a befitting reply to the Pakistan's nefarious plots. BSF has proved its mettle over the time, and now they are also repeating the same with the challenges coming more and more. This time the challenges are not only of the drone or of the Pakistan pushing narcotics into the Indian territory, but also the upcoming G20 is on the radar of the Pakistani terrorists. आप मुझे बताइए, लगातार चुनौतियों के बीच हौसला किस तरह से है और देशवासियों के लिए क्या संदेश है?
हौसला तो हर टाइम आप ही है सर हमारा। देशवासी को तो यही संदेश देना चाहता हो कि हम लोग ड्यूटी में हैं तो आप लोग हर टाइम सुरक्षित हैं।
कितनी चुनौतियों के बीच आप यहाँ पर जो है मुस्तैद हैं? पाकिस्तान लगातार ये कोशिश करता है दुश्मन की कहीं ना कहीं माहौल बिगाड़ा जाए, उसके लिए किस तरह से तैयार हैं?
हम लोग पूरी तरीक़ा से तैयार हैं। जब हम लोग 24 घंटे बॉर्डर पे छाए रहते हैं तो जनता को किसी प्रकार की दिक्कत या परेशानी नहीं है, वो सुरक्षित है, अपने आप को सुरक्षित महसूस करें। हम लोग बॉर्डर पे 24 घंटा ड्यूटी करने के लिए तैनात हैं।
The round the clock deployment, this shows the morale, this shows how trained they are to fight any contingency arising out of the situation. And ahead of the G20, the BSF is on the highest of the alertness, but this morale of the troops on ground, ensuring the countrymen that they need not to worry, as these men, they are burning the midnight here to ensure the sovereignty of the country. This is the message that goes loud and clear to the adversary as well. With Gaurav Sahani, Gursimran Singh for Public Media Network.
So, from high-tech gadgets and even long-range cameras that are being used to keep a strict vigil at the border areas, in wake of intel inputs that suggest that there could be an attempt to thwart security in the border regions. Security, of course, has been heightened across J&K ahead of the G20 summit.
The border security force is all geared up to tackle any kind of threat from across the border. Along with the men on ground, they're also using the machinery and the state-of-art equipments that have been provided to the border security force, that include the cameras that can deep dive into the Pakistan's territory so as to ensure that any nefarious plot of the Pakistan can be foiled well within the time. These are the multiple frames. You can see that how these brave hearts of the BSF, those who have been specially trained to keep a strict vigil, they are now keeping a strict view on what is happening in the Pakistan's area. So this is one of the areas in the forward area where you will find that how the troops of the Indian security forces are keeping a strict vigil on the enemy's nefarious designs. This keeping in view the threat perception that remains ahead of the G20 meet, the high-level G20 meet that is all set to take place in the Kashmir Valley. India is keeping each and every moment's vigil on the Pakistani side so as to ensure that the threat that the Pakistan is trying to pose to the Indian side can be averted. And these are the high quality cameras that are being used by the border security force so as to foil any nefarious design of the enemy, and also to ensure that everything goes smooth, and if any attempt is made by enemy, that can be foiled well within the time. And special control rooms have been established on the ground zero by BSF. With Gaurav Sahani, Gursimran Singh for Public Media Network.
And coming up on